2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast. Thirty seconds till broadcast. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Fighting for freedom every day.
Let me tell you, the response to the show has been absolutely amazing. People can't believe that a young conservative millennial continues to fight for constitutional principles, traditional values, and talks about issues that some are even afraid to talk about. But we do it because we understand the importance of this, and now we're seeing it absolutely blow up all across the nation.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
It is the Voice of Reason. I am Andy Hooser. Happy Thursday. It is a pre-Friday celebration, the greatest day of the entire week. Yes, I say that every day because, yes, it is absolutely true. Welcome into the show, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on our flagship station all over the country on radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting. Doesn't matter where you're at, how you may be watching or listening. We appreciate you all over the place. So, there's a lot to get to today. We're going to try and cram as much of it in as we can. Why? Because that's just what we do here on this show, is we try to cram that 10 pounds reason into that 5-pound bag and have more fun than any other radio host on the air. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, as we mentioned, you can find us on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, also on the Parler app, minds.com. And I think and the website, HooserReason.com. You can leave comments, email me, all over the place. Doesn't matter. There's a few things I want to get to today. So there's some really big news out of President Donald Trump's administration, where he has broken another landmark in the White House, trying to create peace in the Middle East, which is really great news. We'll get to that. We have some activists. Is Santa Claus corrupting our children? Before you say anything one way or the other when it comes to Christmas or Santa Claus or the religious aspect, or whether you believe in Santa Claus or not, or teach your kids about Santa Claus or not, that's not what I'm talking about. We'll get to that here in just a minute. But first, yesterday, I want to follow up on a topic that we kind of talked about yesterday when it comes to properly being parents and raising children, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. There was a national story that came out from the Department of Education a day or so ago that said that near 30 to 40% of schools have higher failing rates right now than previous years due to the online virtual classes. Because how can you keep the attention of students, both either elementary school all the way up to high schoolers, keeping their attention on the computer, which is a good thing, by the way, but to keep their attention, to make them do the work, to still turn in things on time at an appropriate amount of time, and to do that while on virtual when you're sitting at home, and you can really do essentially whatever you want to. It's extremely difficult, especially when you have a 6-year-old first grader. I got home last night after the program, and I got there and I talked to Little Voice of Reason and how was school and how was everything. And she's telling me about her stories and everything she did, which is great. Then we get done. We tuck her into bed at night. Mrs. Voice of Reason and I go to bed, and she mentions to me, hey, by the way, I have a question about some of her homework. And I said, okay, what's going on? And she shows it to me, and she says, I'm very confused about this. I don't understand what they're trying to get at here. I'm like, well, it's first grade math. I mean, it can't be that difficult, Mrs. Hooser. Come on now. She's like, thanks, jerk. But no, you need to look at this. Now, I was not aware. I was preparing myself for when she got older into the middle school, high school, when the Common Core would show its ugly face. She's a first grader. How hard can math be? How hard could the writing be? She's learning the letters. She's learning the sound. She's learning pronunciation. She's learning to write. She's learning to read. And she's learning basic math. You can't really mess that up, can you, when it comes to Common Core education? Oh, yes, you can. Au contraire. Oh, how I was wrong on that one. So she pulls out the book, and she shows me the problem. And it is trying to do simple math, simple addition and subtraction. Okay. But let me tell you, I have never seen the dumbest thing in my entire life. So I have a question for you. Do I reach out to the school regarding this, or would it do any good? And here's what I mean. If you're watching the video stream, then you can see this, and I'll try and show you on the video screen. If not, I'll try to describe it on the radio here as well. First off, it is the first grade math book, Math in Focus, Singapore math. I don't know why it's not a Singapore, but apparently Singapore does our math curriculum for first graders nowadays. And if you look down here in the corner, again on the video, if not, then I'll explain it to you, but it says Common Core right there in the bottom right-hand corner of the math book. Common Core, Math in Focus. So she shows me the chapter that they're wrapping up, about ready to do some tests on. And Mrs. Voice of Reason needed to assist Little Voice of Reason in this math test because she couldn't even understand it, and she was trying to figure out what the heck was going on. Now, the chapter wrap-up says it is doing addition and subtraction in the factors of 10 and 20. All right, 10 plus 10 equals 20. 20 plus 20 equals 40. I mean, you go on down the road. You can break down the numbers to the basic common factors there, 10 and 20, and so on and so forth. Okay, fine. Then they get to, again, this is first graders. This is not high school. This is not middle school. This is not when the Common Core gets complicated and really messes up, a multiplication problem to make it very difficult for you to understand how they do it when you should just memorize the numbers and be done with it. What is 15 minus 3? Very simple, 12. You take 15, you take 3 away from it, now you have 12. Oh no, it is not that simple in the Singapore Math in Focus Common Core edition. Oh no. They have 15 minus 3. Now they have and I'll show this to you, they have the little circles underneath the 15 to make it 10 and 5. What goes into 15? Okay, 10 and 5. It also would be 11 and 6 or whatever. Or 11 and 4. However you want to do it. 11 and 6. See, I need to take, apparently, elementary school math. And math was my strong suit. Think about that for a second. Little Voice of Reason is actually very smart in math, like me, because I did it very, very well until I got to calculus. And I'm like, why am I beating myself up about this? Now, the math problem goes deeper. Other than just breaking apart the 15 to the 10 and the 5, which you would think you don't even need to do. 15 minus 3. You take away 3 from the 15, you get 12. Count backwards 3 from 15. Now you can figure it out. Boom, done. Oh no. Underneath the two circles from the 15, which is the 10 and the 5, they now have 5 minus 3, which is 2. Why you would do that makes no sense to me. Then here's the tricky part. 15 minus 3 equals 10 plus 2, which equals 12. Again, I'm going to show this to you on the screen. Think about that for a second. Now what they've essentially done, and I've racked my brain trying to understand the mindset behind this, and I get it. It's Common Core. It doesn't make any sense a whole lot, but I'm trying to understand it. And the best that I can come up with is maybe they're trying to create this in an algebraic mindset. In algebra, going from basic addition and subtraction to algebra. Trying to, because if you equal, then, one equation on one side needs to equal the same amount of the equation on the other side. Okay, I get that. This is basic math. We're not trying to teach them algebra at this time. This is first grade. Can you add? Can you subtract? And do you think a 6-year-old is going to understand one side needs to equal the other side so you can do the same two problems, but it's going to equal the same on both ends? And why do you need to do that? why does 15 minus 3 need to equal 10 plus 2? It does, but why do you need to make it that complicated? That is the dumbest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. And again, we know that it's Common Core. We know that it's garbage. We know that we've been fighting this battle for a very long time, but I'm a little frustrated because I was trying to prepare myself for the middle school time when this would come up, and I was prepared to walk into the classroom and be able to tell the teacher what's up, and that if you guys don't change this garbage, then we're going to go and do our own homeschooling thing and not have to worry about it. But this is ridiculous. This is first grade. The breaking down of the 15 number, which doesn't need to happen. 5 minus 3 equals 2, which where do you come up? Why do you even do that? I don't understand. Why do you even do that? And then 15 minus 3 equals 10 plus 2, which is the 12. It makes your head hurt. I've been racking my brain all evening, all day, trying to understand why they would do this. Now, when they're trying to break down the other numbers, I mean, you could say, all right, let's break them into even numbers. If it's 15, you can break it down to a 10 and a 5, just so you understand what numbers go into this. Okay, fine. I kind of sort of understand the logic behind that to help you start doing addition, so you can understand, hey, you could put in there a 10 and a 5, an 11 and a 4, a 12 and a 3. You could start adding up whatever to add to 15, so that way you know that those numbers add up to that. Okay, that makes sense. But why break this down? Doesn't make any sense to me, and this is first grade math. Common Core edition, by the way, from Singapore, apparently, with the Math in Focus. So here's my question. Leave a comment all over the social media. Email me, HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Do you reach out to the school district and say, what the blankety blankety blank is this? And we ain't going to fly that way. Or do we just accept the fact that that's the way the schools are going, and we just try to work towards homeschooling? Because the Mrs. Voice of Reason is home as well. We've discussed the homeschooling option because I'm not going to teach that way. If you have to break down a simple 15 minus 3 problem into 5 steps to understand 15 minus 3 equals 12, then you're probably not going to do very well when you get to actual algebra or when you get to calculus or when you move on up the ladder, because you're trying to break down every single simple process, and it's just not okay. This takes the Mad Minutes that I remember in my school. You remember that, the Mad Minutes? You would have a sheet full of different addition and subtraction problems, and you would have 60 seconds, the Mad Minute, to do as many as you could, and you would try and fill them out, and you had to be right, and you had to be as quick as possible, and the student that had the most amount of proper answers in the class at the end of the Mad Minute got a prize. This takes it away from, hey, let's think on your feet very, very, very fast and keep moving here, to, wow, let's break down the simple, stupid project to make it as complicated as possible. Again, not prepared for this yet. Daddy wasn't ready for that yet. I was ready to be. So I have not talked to Little Voice of Reason. In fact, she saw me walking out of the house this morning as I was heading to work, and I had her math book, and she's like, "Dad, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing math problems at work today, honey. I'm doing math problems at work. I'll bring it back tonight." And I'm trying to understand. I've been racking my brain. Now, the rest of it's fine. I can kind of sort of see where they're going here. And they have the nice little graphs. And I remember these nice little graphics for the kids to make you try and understand and break everything down. Everything else is fine in here, for what I've seen at least. This? Not okay with it. Not okay with it. Shoot me a message, whatever you think. That's the news. The other one we have is we have apparently a Santa Claus that is extremely not so cheery in the most festive of moods this year that made another kid cry as well. I mean, I cried on that one. My little one, she's just like looking at me like, what's going on here? This one actually made a kid cry.
Can you give me a second? You don't know.
All right, so it's not the best audio. It's from a cell phone, but the kid's up there with Santa Claus, and Santa Claus is asking, what do you want for Christmas, little boy? Ho, 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 what do you want for Christmas, little boy? And he goes, I don't know. So then they try and egg him on a little bit.
What? No guns. Nerf gun. No, not even a Nerf gun. No. If your dad wants to get it for you, that's fine, but I can't bring it to you. But what else would you like? Lots of other toys. There's Legos, there's bicycles, there's cars and trucks. What do you think? What do you think? It's okay if your dad...
All right, so little hard to hear, little hard to understand. Santa Claus is going, what would you like, little boy? He goes, I don't know. What do you want? What do you want? Go ahead and tell me. I want a Nerf gun. Nope, can't do that. Santa's not going to bring you any guns. Nope, not even a Nerf gun. If your daddy gets you one, then he can get you one, but Santa's not going to bring you a Nerf gun. Goes off on him. For how dare you, little child, wanting a Nerf gun? How dare you wanting a firearm? Santa's not going to bring you a Nerf gun. Not going to happen. You can bring Legos, we can bring trucks, we can bring balls, we can bring whatever you want, but not a Nerf gun. Kid starts crying right in the middle of the store. Santa Claus. The hell, man? Really? Now, honestly, either this guy has a God complex where he actually thinks he's going to bring toys, or he's some kind of anti-gun agenda-driven Yahoo trying to brainwash the children. Not going to bring guns. Nope, not even a Nerf gun. Ain't going to fly. Unfortunately, the parent didn't lay on the Santa Claus like I would have, because she just went and tried to comfort her kid and they moved on as there was a long line. I would have made sure that the Santa Claus knew exactly how Daddy felt about that situation.
The voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
No, I want an officer right undercover knife and 200 my rifle.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Oh, man. There it is. Santa Claus is telling you what's up. Santa's little helpers. I tell you, it's already difficult to be able to get the kids out to go take a picture with Santa Claus if that's what you do for a tradition kind of thing. But for a Santa Claus to be like, sorry, not bringing you a gun. Ain't gonna fly. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. No, not even a Nerf gun. If your daddy wants to, you can, but Santa's not bringing you a gun. Bringing a kid to tears in the middle of a store. What would you do as a parent or as a grandparent if you took your kids to go get the picture with Santa Claus? Oh, what do you want, little boy or girl? I want a Nerf gun. Yep. You and your Nazi parents get on out of here. We don't want you and your kind with them guns like. Like, what would you do in the store? Me being the outgoing kind of person that I am, I wouldn't really care how many people are in that line. I would make sure that he knew exactly what was on my mind, just like I may have to find out and call up the school district to wonder about what's going on with this Common Core math education. It's going on as well because things just ain't the way they used to be. Oh, how the world has changed, has it not? Let's get into what's trending today. What do you say?
What's trending today?
So some big news, of course, is outside of the children are just being brainwashed by our public education system, that Donald Trump has yet broken another record and has done something else that no one has ever been able to do in the history of mankind, and that is try to bring more peace to the Middle East, as Trump has announced. According to the AmericanMilitaryNews.com, Trump has announced the Israel-Morocco peace deal, the fourth Trump-era Middle East peace deal to try and bring peace to the Middle East. Today, President Donald Trump announced the Kingdom of Morocco as the fourth Middle Eastern country to establish diplomatic relations with Israel during his presidency. Now, I don't know if you remember or not, and we need to get him back on the show, but we talked with an individual who is the former mayor of Shiloh, Israel. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And he talks about Donald Trump and Trump and the Jews is the name of his book. And he talks about the fact that there are so many Middle Eastern countries that want to have peace agreements and peace deals with Israel, but because of the Muslim Brotherhood, because of the politics in the area and the religions in the area, that we're really not able to do so, and it's very difficult for them to come on board. Now, they want to, they just kind of turn the other way and just kind of put on the blinders. Donald Trump has made it happen, and this is now the fourth peace agreement in the Middle East that goes on with Israel, showing that there are so many nations that are finally because of Donald Trump, by the way, that are finally starting to speak up, rise up and say, yeah, you know what? We don't want this to continue on. We actually want to create some peace. We want to do some great things right now. We want to get along with Israel and everybody be happy, hunky-dory. Now, obviously, there are nations that do not like that very much, but with Donald Trump leading the force, the fourth one that he has done, let me ask you, how many peace agreements in the Middle East did Obama do? That would be zero. The only thing he did was, we're going to do an Iranian deal, which was a terrible deal that didn't have a whole lot of sanctions on them and didn't hold them accountable for anything that they actually did. But Donald Trump tweeting earlier today, another historic breakthrough day. Our two great friends, Israel and the Kingdom of Morocco, have agreed to full diplomatic relations, a massive breakthrough for peace in the Middle East. Think about this for a second. The individual who gets shamed by the media day in and day out as a Nazi, as a fascist, as a racist, as a womanizer, as this, as that, is an illegitimate president because Russia got him in there. He has created 4 different peace agreements in the Middle East. He has moved the embassy to Jerusalem. He has claimed that as the capital, as it should be, and everybody has lost their minds and thinks that he is the worst president in American history, when we know for a fact that that is absolutely untrue, and that's actually the opposite of what Donald Trump really is. But the fact that he was able to make this happen, and even though he potentially could be on the way out the door, and he still gets this agreement to happen, just shows the kind of guy that Donald Trump is, and who I think still needs to be in office once we continue on with some of these lawsuits. But another big historic day. Congratulations to President Trump and his team, because we're still rocking it when it comes to peace in the Middle East. More coming up. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
The Hooser Media Network is way more than just the voice of reason. It's your source to find numerous different online talk shows, podcasts, TV, and radio programs, all in one simple online location for you. From political talk to health talk to whatever you may be interested in, we're here for you. And I tell you, it's growing every day. Catch Tracy Maxfield with her podcast, Engage, Educate, and Empower, discussing mental health issues in children and teenagers. From bullying, teenage suicide, addiction, ADHD, and so much more, learn from Tracy and her guests about symptoms, signs, and ways to talk to your children, plus so much more. Having battled depression, being the author of the internationally acclaimed book, Escaping the Rabbit Hole, and being a retired nurse, Tracy is kind of the go-to on the subject. Make sure to find her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, along with her website at tracymaxfield.com. Also, make sure to tune into the weekly podcast Jump, Pivot, and Roll with Shannon Stiles and Rachel Murphy. Taking that next big leap of faith is hard. Trying to write a book, maybe struggling with a relationship, looking to take that next big career step. What's stopping you? There's a lot of big questions there, and they're questions that Rachel and Shannon want to help with you each and every week. It's Jump, Pivot, and Roll on any of your favorite podcasting sites and on Facebook and YouTube. All of these shows and a heck of a lot more can be found on the Hooser Media Network Facebook and YouTube channels. Make sure to follow and subscribe to check them out today. Follow all the shows, and if you have any inquiries, check us out at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with The Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason, and I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what The Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners, and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network.
When Reason Meets Radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome back into it. It is a pre-Friday celebration right here on the Voice of Reason. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, wherever you may be across the country. We appreciate you very much. Trying to rebrand it, the millennial generation. Trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag, because that's what we do. Your millennial general reporting for duty. By the way, real quick, the story that we talked about in the last half hour with the kid that ended up started crying at Santa Claus because Santa Claus said, I'm going to get you a firearm. Not even a Nerf gun. Nope. Guns are bad, okay? Apparently, this has happened a little bit ago, and there's been some follow-up to it as some of the listeners have been posting some stories and linking to this. But Steven Crowder apparently dressed up as Santa and went and gave the kid a Nerf gun. So well done. Well done. Love that. Steven Crowder's hell of a host. I really enjoy him very much. I want to shift gears a little bit and see what's trending. What do you say?
What's trending today?
What's trending today is that this virus thing still just kind of lingering. And now that we've gone through from March to now and the potential, not assured yet, but the potential, Joe Biden administration coming up in 2021 with mandatory masks all over the nation, more shutdowns, and apparently they worked so well the first time we have to do it again. Looking back now, doing the 2020 reflection, what kind of liberties and rights have we actually lost, and what are we still able to fight for and gain back here, and what is just poof gone out the window? If you remember, just about any time the government tries to create a new program, it's you give them an inch and they take 2 miles. They say there's a problem, they take over an industry, and then boom, now you have zero control over that industry because, well, we just need to create a new department in the federal government. Why not? So I'm excited to have this guy on. He is the editor and author of the book Essential Liberty, Finding Freedom in a Post-COVID World. He's also host of the Bob Zadek Show, libertarian talk show out of San Francisco, Seattle, Sacramento, Portland, and Denver. That's like all the most like crazy progressive liberal states out there as a libertarian program. How do you do it, my friend? Bob Zadek, how are you, my friend?
Well, you know what it's like? It's like when the North America was being colonized. They sent these Christian missionaries to come here, and the question is, why did they come here? Because it was so fertile. They had a lot of potential customers, so they went where they could do the most good. So why do I broadcast my show in these dark blue bastions? Because I can do the most good. Every time I say a smart syllable, I could improve the life of 1 million people in the West Coast.
I like that.
So for me to do it in Kansas, everybody already is in the program. That's why I don't do it in Kansas. I do it where the action is, just like a missionary.
Well, I love that thinking, especially with the libertarian values that, you know what, I think, look, I'm a millennial, I'm 32 years old. There's a lot of libertarians that are in my generation that have kind of shied away from the Republican Party. And I got a libertarian flavor to me as well, but I mean, there's a lot of them that are just so anti-two-party system kind of thing, and I love the fact that there are libertarians in my group because we need to show them that the libertarian movement doesn't need to be partnering with crazy progressives just because of some social issues, but we can bring reason and we can bring limited government and less regulation and less taxes to everybody, and then we can go on about our day. So I love the fact that there is a libertarian movement that is growing in this nation. So kudos to that.
Well, let's distinguish the Libertarian Party, which is a failed experiment with libertarian as a belief system, of which there are many libertarians in both parties. And look, we have two political parties only because the two political parties have learned how to game the system and make it so no other party can thrive. They control who gets to be in the debate through the debate commission. They control voter access. They control ballot access, so you cannot get another party on the ballot. So we have two political parties, not because the country is divided in half. It's because people are required to pick between two approaches, two platforms, neither one of which has the people like all of. We don't have a choice. And let me point out one thing. If there were any two businesses in America that behaved the way the two parties did, they'd be subject to antitrust action. So for some reason, we value as a country more competition in breakfast cereal than we do in political beliefs. Go figure that one out.
Yeah, it's a crazy time that we live in. It's a crazy world, and that's why we need to bring common sense and reason back into it. So we appreciate what you do with that. Let's bring that to the big event that's going on right now with the COVID pandemic. At the beginning, we're like, you know what? We're a little scared of this virus. We're not sure what's going on. They're coming out. They're a little concerned. They're telling us to stay home and shutting everything down. We'll go along with it for a while because it seems like it's a pretty dangerous thing. I lost my, I guess, truth or belief or trust in the government when they said, you know what, all the riots that are going on after some of the issues and the social justice warriors that are out there, they're out protesting in the thousands, and they allowed it and said, yeah, it's okay to do that. And I said, wait a second, doesn't that spread the virus? And since then, I think we've seen kind of a snowball downhill of more regulation, more control, more intrusion, more government regulation, more punishment, more control, more power, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere anywhere in the right direction, does it?
Well, you said something that I picked up on when you said it. You said you lost your trust in government. For me, my response is not that you lost your trust, but why in the world did you ever have any to begin with? Losing it and not having trust in government ought to be the natural order of things.
Yeah.
After all, what is government? Government is a bunch of human beings who have made a decision that the occupation they wanted was an occupation where they can order people to do what they say. There's no other occupation except government where you can order people to do what you want, to buy your product. Amazon has to beg people every day through good service and cheap prices to get people to buy what they are selling. A government doesn't have to convince you to buy what they are selling. They point the gun at you or they send the police. So government should not be automatically trusted. You could expect them to be honest with you, but it's laziness to just blindly trust them, because then you might as well cut out your brain, because you're chucking aside your brain and letting government tell you right from wrong. So congratulations on losing your trust in government. Shame on you for having it to begin with.
Well, you're right. I misspoke on that one. I did not trust that. I believe most people were trusting maybe the health officials and the health leaders when they first came out with this, with Dr. Fauci, and everybody was like, all right, you know what?
They aren't health leaders.
Right.
They are people who who either chose not to or could not succeed in the private sector. So they went to Plan B, which is work for the government. That's Plan B. There is no reason to trust them. And why would you not trust any other person with a medical degree who is in private practice who has a different opinion? There is no reason to trust somebody just because you pay their salary.
It's very true. It sounds like a college professor. Oh, I can't make it in the real world. I'm just going to go teach at a university. So there's that going for them. There are some lawsuits that are coming out now. Many states are starting to see lawsuits against the state by private businesses. The attorney generals all over the nation have now come out and said that, yeah, you know what, the businesses who have been shut down, who weren't deemed as quote-unquote essential businesses, they have a right to a lawsuit against the state because of lost revenue and lost resources, so on and so forth. The big one was a couple of days ago, and actually it was the adult working industry in Nevada. that is suing the state of Nevada because brothels have still been shut down once everything began to reopen up. We've seen barbershops begin to sue different states here in the state of Kansas and actually the city of Wichita, where we're in here with our flagship. We're seeing actually some bars and restaurants that have been told to close at 10 p.m. because at 10:01, the big scary virus comes out, and the nightclubs, we're all going to die from COVID if we stay there past 10 o'clock. They're now suing the state and the counties because of lost revenue and because the government tells them to shut down unconstitutionally. Is that the way that do you think we're going to start be able to fight for some of our rights to come back?
Well, it'll be two ways. It'll be in the courts because the overwhelming majority of actions that governors, mayors, and county commissioners and county executives have taken has shown to be, when it gets into court, has been shown to be unconstitutional. It just takes a long time for it to get into court. So yes, the courts are slapping down governors, especially Cuomo and especially Newsom, but the others as well. Whitner in Michigan had a go of it at the Supreme Court and lost. Governor Wolf in Pennsylvania lost in the Supreme Court. So yes, that is happening. It's slow and ineffective. One would hope that governors who take action which they know is unconstitutional, but they do it because they get away with it for 6 weeks or 8 weeks, one would hope that a more conscientious government official would not take steps that they know were unconstitutional. It's like breaking a law because you don't care about breaking the law, and you say, I'm going to break a law for the sole reason I'm not likely to be caught.
Yeah.
That's no reason to break a law, especially if you take an oath to obey and enforce the Constitution.
Yeah, that's very true. We're talking with Bob Zadek, author of Essential Liberty, Finding Freedom in a Post-COVID World. Bob, can you stick over one more segment with us? I'd love to continue this on.
I would love to. Thank you so much.
Hey, fantastic. Very good. When we come back, I want to talk about the changes of what potentially could happen with the Biden administration, if that's what happens, as the investigation still goes on with the election, what's going to happen with COVID, and what rights have we lost that maybe we haven't noticed, and how can we fight to get all these back? We'll do that when we come back here with Bob Zadek. You can also find him online, bobzadek.com, as you can find his radio show as well, also on social media, on Facebook, at Bob Zadek Radio Host as well. You can follow him on there. We'll be right back here on The Voice of Reason. Lots more to get to as we wrap up the show today for a pre-Friday celebration. Stay right here on The Voice of Reason.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. And I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason.
Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the program today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite podcasting sites and have the show automatically downloaded to your phone or computer every single day. Just find us on any podcasting site or go to HooserReason.podbean.com. And be sure to check out our Patreon site, become the ultimate Hooserholic, and help us fight for conservative values every day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Now back to the national broadcast of the Voice of Reason.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
This is by far the fastest radio show in the country. Just blows right on by. I can't believe it. We got so much to get to and so little time to actually do it. Welcome back into the show right here on the Voice of Reason, radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting. Doesn't matter where you're at. You can follow us all over our social media at Hooser Reason. Again, that's Hooser with no I, Hooser. Reason on all the social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, Parler.com, Minds.com. Also the website at HooserReason.com. As we are talking, we got to make this guy a semi-regular on the program. Love chatting with him, Bob Zadek. You can find him online, bobzadek.com as well. There is a story that I found today. Can I stop wearing a mask after getting the COVID-19 vaccine? And according to the health experts, can I stop wearing it? No! Even with the vaccine, you cannot stop wearing the mask. Why? According to the story, for a couple reasons. Masks and social distancing will still be recommended for some time after people are vaccinated. To start, number one, the first coronavirus vaccines require 2 shots. Therefore, you're not going to be fully covered if you just take 1 dose. It's also not sure whether Pfizer or Moderna vaccines protect people from the infection entirely or just from the symptoms. Wait a second. So we're taking a vaccine that's just going to mask that. You could still get it. We're just going to mask the symptoms. Wow. Bob Zadek, let's get your thoughts on that one. Even if you get the vaccine, which now there's discussion of potentially forcing people to get the vaccine, making employers force the employees to get the vaccine, not going to be able to fly or be out in public unless you get the vaccine and you show your papers, sir, to prove that you actually took the vaccine. But even if you do, then you still got to wear a mask. What the heck, man?
By the way, you cannot, under our Constitution, there is no precedent whatsoever for any government forcing anybody to take a vaccine.
Yeah.
Now, so let's get that off the table. Now, what you can do, government can offer a fine where they can say, that's what they did, if you remember, with Obamacare. Either you buy health insurance or you pay a fine. That was the way they tried to compel people to have health insurance. So they can say either you get vaccinated or you pay a fine, but they cannot incarcerate you for not vaccinating, and they cannot compel you to be vaccinated. That's impossible. We are not a country where we will strap people to a gurney and have government stick a needle in their arm. That will never happen. Now, for sure, airlines can say through the FAA, you cannot board the plane without a vaccine. Whether that's good policy or not, different conversation, but they can do that, just like they can say you can't drive unless you have a license. So, but they cannot compel you to have a vaccine lest you go to jail. They cannot do that. So let's get that off the table. As to compelling you to wear a mask, that's a different story. And I find a conversation about wearing a mask to be a second-tier conversation and not a motivation for me to edit the book that I wrote. The reason is because I find that wearing a mask, although I really don't like it very much, it is a second or third-tier intrusion in my life. Sort of like wearing a seatbelt. I wouldn't wear a seatbelt either normally, or I might not, but I don't like being compelled to. But it's that level. It doesn't make me want to go move to a third world country.
Right.
But where we talk about the lockdown, which is what prompted me to put together my book, the lockdown is a big deal. Never in our 231 glorious years of being a country, never before have millions of people who did not break a law and were not sick, millions of people being compelled to house arrest. That's penal. And never people have been quarantined because they were sick. That's appropriate public health. But people who are healthy being quarantined and you can't leave your house, never before. That is profoundly offensive to me. And my comment is, I have a cure, because people always ask me, what should we do about it?
Mm-hmm.
Andy, there are 4 words that answer the question. Whenever you are confronted with any public official who is ordering you to stay at home, you say 4 words to them. Show me the data. That's all you have to know. It is like you drive them to their knees because they have no data. It will be a mantra like Black Lives Matter, remember the Maine, no taxation without representation. Show me the data will bring them to their knees.
Show me
because
the data.
They have no data. All you've got to remember is you shout it out. You have signs.
Bob.
Show me the data, and they will wilt.
I love it. We're out of time, my friend. It's good to have you on the show. Let's do this again real soon. What do you say?
Show me the data, Andy.
There it is. This is The Voice of Reason, everybody. Have a great
Hey, it's
Thursday.
Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.